Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Crystal, and you're just chilling with JK. We are a married couple
with 3 beautiful kids
from Brooklyn, New York. Come chill as we discuss
whatever the we want. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. And today we are discussing our creativity. Is it that?
Yeah.
I called Krista while I was driving. I just wanted to let her know that I think we are putting ourselves in a box where following the rules or the formula too much. Where in the beginning, when we didn't know the format of certain things, we would just do it with no worry, and whatever mistakes were there, we just make adjustments on the next one and not really worrying about our mistakes in the past.
I was happy that he did say that to me. It did catch me off guard because I did not think that's what he was calling me to tell me. But I watched this girl on YouTube, and she's young. She's in her early 20s, and she's a fashion designer, and she's basically doing all the things I used to do when I was younger, like, you know, planning a fashion show, doing a pop-up, doing pop-ups and stuff like that. And obviously, like, I'm 36 now, so a lot of life has happened to me, and, you know, I've sucked myself into that, which I'm not upset about. Like, I'm so grateful for everything that I have and my family. But when it comes to my, you know, all the things I imagined my career would be, obviously I thought I would be further. But obviously, like, I switched, you know, like they say, you focus on one thing, the other things gets left behind, or you know, not really tend to.
Yeah, it's not nurtured as much, or it's not watered.
Nurtured, yes. So now I'm trying to find a healthy balance of family, you know, being a wife, being a mom, doing homeschool, house stuff, and, you know, my designing and my art.
Yes.
And so I really want to get back into that, and I'm just trying to figure out a way to, like, make the time for it. So I really do want to get back into that creative mode. I have been sewing a lot.
Yes.
So it's not a problem. It's just making sure that I do make the time. But, you know, after doing all those things, it's like you get tired. And I honestly just feel like I'm very strict with schedules and stuff like that. So it's really more so like making a strict schedule and sticking to it. And that may mean going to bed early and waking up early. But some nights, like a night like tonight,
yes,
it gets, you know, difficult to go to bed early and wake up early. If we're going to bed late, I'm going to be struggling to get out of bed.
Yeah.
But by that, I mean spend more time sewing. So when will I have the time? I would have to. I feel like we already cut out so much. You know,
we
so
don't
it's
even
like,
go out. So
yeah, we don't even go out. So that's the thing. Like, we get consumed with all these things that we have to do. And so it's like, I'm doing so much already. Where can I squeeze this in or that in? So I just really want to, like, not really beat myself up about it, but also keep it in my head. Like, okay, I can get a little bit done today. And I really do want to bring back my creative drive in my clothes and designing and stuff, because I remember a time where every time I had somewhere to go, I'd be like, babe, I'm going to make it. And I've been trying to get back into that and do that. And so, like, I have all this fabric on my shelf, and I want to use those fabric. Like, I already have the designs that I want to make with them. It's just making the time to do it, because even like this past 2 weeks, you know, it got really crazy, and I still have that one dress on my sewing machine that's still out, you know?
Yeah.
And I was supposed to finish that like 2 weeks ago. But just understanding that, like, I'm putting in the effort, right?
Yes,
And
which is good.
Yeah, which is really, it's a huge improvement
Mm-hmm.
compared to before where I didn't touch my sewing machine for months,
Yeah.
even a year maybe. And I'm just happy to be in the mindset that I am in now.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely want to take it more further, right? I want to actually see the things that I envision for these fabrics to come to life.
Yes.
And it's like when you're a creative person, you have so many ideas rushing to you, and I write them down, but it's like the time. And I even said this to Jeffrey the other day, like, I feel like there's no time. Like I remember when time felt forever, like when we were younger, like it just felt like forever.
Yes, it
and
did.
now it just feels like the days are like seconds.
Or I felt like, back then I wasted a lot of time. Even though I got, so much things done then, I still feel like, damn, I had way more time than I did, than I do now. And my conversation to you is like the earlier was to not necessarily make you feel like you're not doing enough. It was more so making sure that we don't limit ourselves with creating, because we tend to try to follow a certain pattern to make it look a certain aesthetic, to please a certain crowd of people in order to get the job. But I'm just saying that, like, for you, like in the beginning, it was more, I know how to use a sewing machine, I don't know how to use a French curler or something like that, and you were creating a whole line of clothes while you're doing your undergrad, and then at the same time working. So I'm like, yo, you're more than capable of getting a show done, but it's more so your creativity I was really trying to attack, where it's like, yo, take the risk of using whatever fabric you can put together, or whatever image that you see in your mind, or whatever two pieces you see. Because back then you were like using mad shimmer and shine and like
Not
whatever.
Shimmer and Shine,
I'm just
the
saying.
TV show,
Oh,
Jeffrey.
Hey, I have kids. Anyway, like, yo, all of that, like, yo, I want you to, just put things together and be unapologetic about it, and like, not everyone is supposed to understand what you're creating, because you're an artist. A true artist just creates, and then whatever people think or gravitate to, what it is, because ultimately we get these ideas from God, and then God is like, yo, do this, and then when you do it, you're inspiring whoever needs to be inspired by it. So we just got to remember that. Me, I have a habit of trying to do things a certain way in film, and I lose sight of the message. I lose sight of certain elements that I would naturally put in, because it's my aesthetic, because I want to appease, a client, or just try to appease a certain crowd of people in order for me to get more bookings. So I realized that for myself. So I was just relaying the message to you, where it's like, yo, you as a creative too, don't get stuck in this world, this element or terminology, or feel less than, because, the younger crowd is actually moving further up than you and all of that stuff. Because all of those things play a part, where you get annoyed at the fact that, damn, this 22-year-old, is getting the roles that you should be getting, or 20, that you feel like you should be there. You should be in that position at that time. But like we said, we made a decision to start our family, which we'll never regret, and that never hindered us growing. That actually made us grow to the individuals that we are today. So I would never regret that process. I will love and enjoy that process, because that's something we planned together. So,
but I just want you to know, like, I never feel like a 22-year-old should. I used to feel like that, like,
yeah,
but not really with 22-year-olds. I just felt like that for like just anyone who was famous, and they were just like, well, I'm a fashion designer now.
Yeah.
And it's like they didn't really do anything other than like approve designs and have someone sew it.
Yes.
You know, like someone sketched it and just putting their names on it. I used to be annoyed with that because it's like the amount of work that goes into it, it's not what you did. What you did was just approve something.
Point your finger, yeah.
And then other people did it, which I guess, right, essentially.
Which I got some, sorry to cut you off, but which I got some insight about, like, say, for instance, like the Serena Williams line with Nike or whatnot. She just pointed her finger. She didn't really have no design.
Yeah, it's just a factory, technically.
Don't ask me how I know.
You have like a machine behind you, right? It's like, yes, of course, you may have an eye for certain things. And essentially, if you become a very famous designer at some point, you're directing designers who are under you to draw the specific idea and to sew it because, you know, obviously, like, you're running the business aspect of it now. But my point was I used to get upset at that. And now I don't get upset about that anymore because I'm just like, well, that's probably what their purpose was, right? If you're interested in working with me, Crystal, I am a sustainable fashion designer located in Atlanta, Georgia. You can contact me via Instagram, Gemina Hart, JEMINAHEART, or email me at thegeminaheartcollection@gmail.com.
Now back to the conversation.
I feel like I don't feel that way. Like, I love watching this YouTuber because it's everything that I imagined my life would have been. Like, if I would have just, like, you know,
push on more confidently.
Push on more confidently, but also being pregnant after my first pregnancy was a little bit hard for me because I couldn't really eat that much and being nausea. Like, remember, I had all these ideas to sew, like, my baby shower outfit and stuff like that. And I just physically could not do it. And I used to let that regret hold me back and beat up myself about it. But obviously, like Jeffrey said, like, everything happened for a reason, and we're at this space now because now I wouldn't have, you know, like, obviously, like, I'm a sustainable designer now. So, like, all that happened for me to get to this point. So, like, now I have, like, a clear vision as to what I want to do and not feel like I'm polluting this earth, right? And so I definitely, when he said, you know, do all the things, the first thing that came to mind was how I made that cool jacket, right? And now it's like in trend, that material and that type of, you know what jacket I'm talking about?
Oh, I know, the
one
puff joint.
Yeah, that Sherelle still has and wears, and her sister wears.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it just instantly brought me to that. Because that was my favorite part of the fashion show, obviously.
Yeah. I like the darker
Rihanna inspired.
Yeah.
And the darker stage of Rihanna when she had that album. But obviously, like, now, like, having these fabrics that I have here, it instantly just made me want to sew the idea I had for the patchwork fabric up there. And I just feel like, you know, like, I'm watching these videos and then he's affirming what I'm thinking in my head. And obviously, I just need to make it happen, right? You even said the other day when you were watching a video of them making their first feature film, you were like, you just got to do it. And I'm like, that's what we were doing in the beginning. Like, when we figured out, like, yo, we're really going for this dream of ours. Like, we just have to do it. And what stops us from doing, I think, is just a lot of, like, I guess a lot of the letdowns, right? The letdowns beat us up a lot. And, like, you know, the rejections. And so I think that's what kind of, like, pushed us back and made us feel so vulnerable that we're like, oh, are we good enough? Like, should we keep doing this? Like, yes, we're doing it, but it's like that question always in the back of our mind, like, we're not worthy, you know? But we are worthy and we can do this. And just the fact that you are confirming it to me and I confirm it to you, and then we see other things that are confirming our thoughts and what we want to do, we just have to keep going.
Yeah.
You know, and I just like I don't want to ever look back at this moment in our life and be like, dang, we had the opportunity to do something and we didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And we're not going to let that slip through our hands.
Yeah.
Because we got here, and then now we just got to put in the work that we were already putting in. So
yeah,
we just got to continue that.
So this is for anyone who ever felt like, you know, like, dang, like, should I keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Should I just stop? Like, no, you should keep going. Like, don't stop. Don't quit. It's also motivation for us in the future, you know, if we ever get to that point, like.
We need more motivation. We think about this moment right here. Or play this back.
Right. Because honestly, it is hard. Like, we even said it the other day to each other, like, this life is really hard, like, really trying.
We have to be honest about that. Like, yo, I even cried about it where it was just like, damn, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
You know, and I had that moment of being scared, and I had to accept the fact that I was scared, being, you know, who I am and how I got to provide for my family and trying to figure out a way in this creative life, and as well as sustain, you know, a whole household and all the risks that we take. And it's like, yo, month after month after month, it's just like, yo, when is it going
to happen? When is the pop going to happen?
Because we've been stagnant on Instagram, where there was a moment where it was just thriving. And then for some reason now it's like, whoa, why are we losing followers? What are we doing wrong? We thinking, you know,
but that
many
just
things.
Also made me feel like we need to make something that's our own.
Yeah.
Where we bring people to us and not have a platform control everything.
The narrative, yeah.
But that's further along.
Yeah, like, yo, the reels and all of this stuff that social media requires for you to do, and then you seeing other people content and you're like, damn, I got to make this in order for me to succeed or
but
to
we
grow
talked
my
about
thing.
that in another
And
episode,
it's just so,
remember?
It's so annoying.
We're too
ethical for social media,
internet.
but it's not even about the negative aspect of the internet. It's more so like the analytics, the reels, the sound,
it's just too much.
It turned into something where I have to battle between apps. And I'm like, I hate TikTok, to be completely honest. Like, yo, I don't like being on that platform, but I feel like I needed a page in order for us to try to grow there. But I don't even want to open that, you know, the app to use it. And then I was so comfortable with Instagram on where it was, it's now turning into the app that I dislike. So it's like, yo, now I got to create, now I'm forced to create this content in order for me to engage people. And I'm like, people attention span is going from 1 minute to 30 seconds to 7 seconds. It's like, what do you want me to do? Why are you controlling me so much?
Our next step is really to meet people.
Yeah.
That is literally our real life next step, because it's only foolishness that thrives mostly on the internet now.
Yeah.
And so while we haven't cracked the code, maybe, you know, maybe somebody else has cracked the code and they can inform us in the comments or a voice note. But honestly, like, I just feel like we just need to meet people. Like, we need to be out there networking and meeting people and bringing them to our business, right?
Yes.
And so honestly, that's the only way I see it. Like, just being out there and connecting with people.
It's who you know.
Yeah. And so I just feel like again, it comes back to us, like me wearing my clothes like I used to, right? And me, you know, just being myself and bringing that into my clothes and bringing that into our shop. And you being yourself and just doing all the things that are you that you did before that made you, you know,
stand out of the crowd.
Yeah. And so people were booking you because of that, right?
Yep.
And so we just have to be there, figure out a way to be in the space.
Yeah. If you're interested in working with me, Jeffrey, I am a photographer, currently based in Atlanta, Georgia. Feel free to contact me via email, bookjvo@gmail.com, or via my website, JVOriginal, JVORIGINAL AL.com.
Now back to the conversation. I don't know what space yet, like in terms of like where to go, because obviously we're still new to this state. So like we're very selective at what we do.
Yes.
And being in crowded areas. But however, like, you know, figuring out which spaces we can go to and that will be beneficial to us in our business, and just move from there. But we also have to just, again, be ourselves, be you, always have your camera with you. You know what I mean? Like doing all the things that you did before.
Yeah.
Like go back to the basics, you know?
Yeah. But like the re-innovated version.
Yes, the re-innovated version. Like doing all the steps that we did do before. Because like I wear my clothes, people notice.
Yeah.
They say something. I gave them my card, right? But, you know, I don't want to be having business cards because we're sustainable and such. But, you know, a QR
readers,
code. Yeah.
And Q&R readers.
But like that's what I used to do. So I have to go back to that. Like that is, it's like starting from scratch. But yeah, I just feel like I'm not going to do like stuff that isn't me. And like we said in the other episode of our podcast, but I'm going to just like post still on social media, but just not doing all the glitz and the glam for no reason. Like it's
That
not
extra stuff.
beneficial.
Yeah, it's
it
not.
doesn't work for us. It
doesn't.
hasn't worked for us.
At all. So we're going right back to the drawing board and being our authentic
Well, we
self.
were already our
Yeah, we are. We're
authentic
too
self.
authentic.
It's just that we just wanted to make sure we're keeping up with the trend, like doing reels and doing all these things. But I'm honestly, I don't have the energy for reels. Like if it's just a simple thing, but I'm not doing all the extra stuff because it's like I want Instagram to be Instagram. I don't want Instagram to be TikTok.
Yep.
You know? So for me, honestly, like that's all we can do, right? And I just feel like meeting people would, and them learning about us would make them want to follow us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and
not
so
only
getting the
follow,
people,
support as
yeah, exactly, and bringing customers. Like I feel like that's the only way to grow our socials, right? Because obviously, then those new people, if they're following someone and like they reshare and all this stuff,
A
and
simple reshare goes a long way.
like your friends and your family, whoever sees it, and they're like, oh, I like that or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like just to keep this short and sweet, be you, don't give up, keep going, take it from us. Like it's not easy over here, but we're making it work. We're figuring it out.
Exactly.
With kids.
Yeah, man. It's a lot. But all in all, many blessings to you guys.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we will talk to you in the next one. Feel the love. You can support us by
shopping
lastingeverafter.com.